Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping straight into the deep end of decentralized finance, or DeFi. We're going to unpack the ideas from the book The Invisible Forces of DeFi and really get to the bottom of how this new world is taking on the entire traditional financial system.
All right, so here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with what makes this a whole new financial frontier. Then, we'll look under the hood at the engine that actually powers all of this stuff. From there, we'll tour the marketplace, talk about the very real risks you need to know, and finally, take a peek at what the future of finance could look like.
Okay, first things first. To really get what DeFi is all about, you have to understand what it's up against. We're not just talking about another banking app here. No, this is a ground-up rewrite of the financial rules we've lived by for centuries.
And this really says it all, doesn't it? On one hand, you've got traditional finance. It's built on trusting institutions, banks, brokers, you name it. On the other hand, you have DeFi, which says, let's not trust people, let's trust code. It's a massive shift from a closed-off, bordered system to one that's open, totally transparent, and available to anyone on the planet.
You know, this quote from the book just nails it. This isn't just a tech revolution, it's a philosophical one. It's about who gets to hold the keys to the financial kingdom. The whole idea is to take those keys away from a handful of gatekeepers and give them to, well, everyone.
So if DeFi is this whole new world, what's the engine that's actually making it all run? To get it, you really only need to understand two core technologies. These are the invisible forces that make everything possible.
It all starts with the blockchain. The easiest way to think about it is like a global, public notebook that's shared across thousands of computers. And here's the magic trick. Once something is written in that notebook, it can't be erased or changed, ever. That creates a foundation of trust without needing a bank or any central boss watching over it.
Now, if the blockchain is the foundation, then smart contracts are the automated robots doing all the work. The best analogy I've ever heard is a digital vending machine. You put your money in this case crypto, the code checks that the rules are met, and bam, it automatically gives you what you paid for. No cashier, no middleman, just code.
And here's that vending machine in action. Let's say you want a loan. You deposit some crypto as collateral into a smart contract. Instantly, the contract sends you the loan. No paperwork, no waiting for a loan officer. And that same contract watches your collateral 24/7. If its value drops too low, the code automatically sells it to pay back the loan. It's finance on autopilot.
Okay, so we know how it works. But what can you actually do in this new financial playground? Let's take a tour of the marketplace.
This is basically the DeFi mall. You've got your lending and borrowing shops like Aave and Compound. You've got your trading posts like Uniswap where you can swap tokens directly. These are the same core services you'd find on Wall Street, just rebuilt on the blockchain. And the key thing to remember is that you're not dealing with a company, you're interacting directly with the code, with the protocol itself.
And maybe the most profound difference of all? This marketplace never, ever closes. It's not on a New York or London schedule. It's a 24/7, always-on, global system. As long as you have an internet connection, you're open for business.
Okay, but with all this incredible opportunity, there's a flip side. This is still a very new frontier, and it's absolutely critical to understand the other invisible forces at play, the ones that can lead to some serious losses if you're not paying attention.
So, let's get real for a minute and be totally transparent about the dangers. What are the hidden traps you need to be aware of before even thinking about jumping in?
The risks are no joke. A tiny bug in a smart contract's code can be exploited for millions. The market's volatility is wild. But honestly, the biggest risk is also DeFi's biggest selling point. You are your own bank. There's no customer service line to call if you send money to the wrong address. That freedom comes with a massive dose of personal responsibility.
All right, this one, impermanent loss, is probably the most misunderstood risk in all of DeFi. So let's try an analogy. Imagine you put flour and sugar into a pool to sell cake mix. If the price of sugar suddenly skyrockets, you might have made more money just holding onto the sugar instead of mixing it. That's kind of what impermanent loss is. It's the potential downside of providing liquidity when prices are moving all over the place.
But even with all these risks, the pace of innovation here is absolutely staggering. So let's wrap up by looking ahead. Where's all of this going? What's next for DeFi?
You can actually see DeFi evolving right before our eyes, trying to solve its own problems. The big focus right now is on making things cheaper and faster. Next up, it'll be all about connecting these different blockchains so they can talk to each other. And down the line, we're talking about AI getting integrated to make the whole system smarter and better at managing risk. It's constantly getting an upgrade.
And when you strip away all the complex code and the jargon, this is what it's all about. This is the ultimate goal. The grand vision here isn't just to build cool new tech. It's to build a global financial system that's more efficient, more transparent, and truly open to everyone.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. Now that you've had a look at the invisible forces driving this revolution, the tech, the promise, and the very real dangers, the real question is, how do you think it's going to reshape your financial world?